Hello everyone, Nathan here from Star Wars Beyond the Films over at StarWarsReport.com. I've taken you through some X-Wing the Miniatures game stuff from Fantasy Flight Games. Figured I'd also do the same for the Star Wars card game they've just released. Now this is Star Wars the card game. It is an LCG, a living card game. What that means is that you are not having to constantly buy booster packs to get the cards that you want. Essentially, the starter set comes with everything from the first set. Then you buy these force packs, and the force packs have all the cards for that particular force pack. Always the same cards. So as a collector, you can pretty much collect everything without having to constantly buy and buy and buy and buy, which is really nice. They've done this with a lot of their other games, including, say, a Game of Thrones game. That's probably the most famous of them right now. There's also a Lord of the Rings one, etc., over at FantasyFlightGames.com. I'm going to take you through, essentially here, just essentially an unboxing. I've already somewhat opened it up. I've taken the plastic off and set it so it's easier to take the lid off here. So your cover here, it's what you'll see if you see it in stores. Nothing on the inside of that. You have one of those Fantasy Flight Games, look at what our other products are type booklets. Some of you may receive this in the mail as well. We have the rules of play. This is the rule book for the game that can also be found as a PDF on the Fantasy Flight Games website. Many people got a chance to look at that before the game itself actually came out. Nice, solid booklet, lots of detail to it, but you may not necessarily need to read it at first because you get this little flap in here that says, stop. Instead of reading the rulebook, you can learn to play Star Wars the card game by watching the video tutorial on our website. It actually is a good video tutorial. You might want to check that out over there on Fantasy Flight Games' website. On the back, an advertisement for the X-Wing products that are out right now, the starter game, and of course those 4 expansions. It does not have a listing for the dice pack, oddly enough, on the back. Maybe it was printed back when the dice pack had been delayed, though it is now out. In the first little plastic baggie we run across, it's all the different counters and tokens of the Death Star dial, all those little pieces that we need to play the game. We'll eventually punch those out and I'll show you what all is used for what later on in another video. Underneath, we have the little black tab, just like with the maneuver dials for the X-Wing game. This is used to hold together the 2 pieces of our Death Star dial that's used prominently throughout the game. You then have a baggie here full of light side affiliation cards, Rebel Alliance and Jedi in that case. We have our dark side affiliation cards, Sith and Imperial Navy in that case, and a nice little sort of holder here for it, though if you lift it up, I mean, there's nothing underneath it, but it might be kind of cool to use those little carved out spots, hollowed out spots, and perhaps put other dials, other counters and such underneath it. That might be a good way to keep your stuff from messing around, mixing around, although you do have those baggies, which is kind of nice. Now on the back, it breaks down a quick image of the game. It gives you a breakdown of what the game is about, and this one does require at least 2 players. In fact, it's set for 2 players. It's about a 30 to 60 minute game. We'll see a little bit more about that later on. It comes with those 5 protective sleeves. Or I guess it uses protective sleeves grade 5. I'm not entirely sure what that means. I've never done the whole protective sleeves thing personally. And yes, the cat is howling because he doesn't like the fact that I guess we haven't used card sleeves. Underneath here we have the game contents. This game contains the rulebook, which we've already seen. 1 Death Star dial, again, needing to be punched out. Plastic dial connectors, that's that little black piece there that holds it together. A 48-card Rebel Alliance deck, a 48-card Jedi deck, those are the light side affiliation decks here, a 48-card Sith deck, a 48-card Imperial Navy deck, the dark side affiliation decks in here. That means there are 2 factions, one for each side, that is not included in this one, but will be in future Force packs. We have the Force cards, 6 affiliation cards, 36 additional cards, 1 balance of the Force token, 44 focus tokens, 42 damage tokens, and 10 shield tokens. That works somewhat like what we see in the X-Wing game, though we'll get to that in a later video. So a nice, solid starter deck here, a starter set here. I got mine for a little over $20 going through CoolStuffInc.com. You can find decent bargains on it online. You can also find this showing up in stores, finally, as one of the last Fantasy Flight Games products of 2012. I'll come back with more, like a breakdown of the contents, breakdown of the different class decks and such, once we return with future videos. Again, you can find these all on YouTube, youtube.com/user/chronoradio, CHRONORADIO, or you can find this on the Facebook page for Star Wars Beyond the Films at facebook.com/SWBeyondFilms. Thank you for watching, and we'll be back.